Rick Ross has always projected a larger-than-life persona.
Would be the boss, Rozay, if I didn't get my day with a glass of Rozay!
And unusual, extravagant habit. But when reality caught up with him, the hip-hop star faced a major reckoning.
Why accumulate everything you can imagine just to drop dead and have a stroke?
And it wasn't just about his weight loss journey. This is the story of what happened to Ricky Ross, the wake-up call. The rapper we know as Rick Ross, born William Leonard Roberts II, wasn't always the health-conscious entrepreneur he is today. There was a time when his lifestyle choices were literally putting his life at risk, and he didn't even realize it until it was almost too late. Let's take a step back to October 14, 2011, a day that would forever change Rick Ross's life. Picture him on a private jet, flying from Fort Lauderdale to Memphis, probably thinking about his next big move, his upcoming album, and the expansion of his growing empire. He was at the absolute peak of his career, having just released the critically acclaimed album Teflon Dawn the year before. Everything seemed to be going according to plan until, without warning, everything went dark.
And up chasing my dreams, I always thought I had the best excuses, but don't nothing come before life.
His first seizure mid-flight, losing consciousness as the plane soared through the sky. The pilot was forced to make an emergency landing back in Fort Lauderdale, where CPR was administered. The situation was critical. But it gets even more shocking. After being treated and released, Ross decided to get on another plane, determined to reach Memphis for his scheduled appearance. Then it happened. A second seizure struck while he was in the air, forcing another emergency landing, this time in Birmingham, Alabama. 2 seizures in a single day. 2 brushes with death. 2 wake-up calls that Ross wasn't ready to heed. At the Birmingham hospital, doctors ran extensive tests. The initial diagnosis seemed simple: severe sleep deprivation. Ross admitted he had been sleeping only about 3 hours a night for extended periods, a revelation shocking to anyone who values their health. But the doctors also discovered something far more dangerous. At the time, Ross weighed around 350 pounds, and his physician warned him bluntly that his weight posed life-threatening risks, requiring immediate lifestyle changes to prevent further complications. You might think that experiencing 2 seizures in one day, being rushed to the hospital twice, and hearing a doctor warn that your lifestyle could kill you would be enough to prompt immediate change. But Ross, like many consumed by the grind and pursuit of success, didn't fully grasp the severity of his situation, at least not yet. In his 2019 memoir, Hurricanes, he would later reveal the full truth about what was really behind his health crisis.
I did have a major weight loss transformation, and I think what truly inspired that was me suffering my first seizure. And after I did that, I began to spend more time looking at myself, taking care of myself, investing in myself, and I realized I had to change my diet, my sleeping habits. Here we are.
It wasn't just sleep deprivation, though that was certainly a major factor. The real culprit was Ross's heavy abuse of codeine-based lean, the dangerous mixture of codeine cough syrup, soda, and candy that has claimed too many lives in the hip-hop community. Ross admitted to consuming up to a full bottle of lean nightly at times, often combined with alcohol and other substances. This toxic cocktail, paired with his grueling schedule, poor diet, and massive weight, was a recipe for disaster. What makes Ross's story even more complex and ultimately human is how he initially responded. In interviews following the 2011 incidents, he downplayed the severity of what happened. He even referenced the seizures in his music, rapping on the remix of Meek Mill's Emma Boss. Had a couple seizures, call it minor setbacks, everybody praying for me, I respect that. Woke up in the hospital, where my check's at. Then I put 8 chains where my neck's at. This wasn't just bravado, it reflected a man who genuinely believed he could power through anything, confident that willpower and determination could overcome any physical limitation. The 2011 seizures did, however, motivate Ross to begin making changes. He started what he would later call RossFit, a CrossFit-inspired workout routine, exercising 4 days a week. He also began working with a personal chef to create healthier versions of his favorite meals and famously incorporated pears into his diet, crediting them with helping curb cravings. He didn't cut out all indulgence. He still enjoyed Wingstop wings and Checkers burgers, but he limited them to specific windows, like noon to 5 p.m., only 2 or 3 days a week. Isn't linear. There are setbacks, relapses, and moments of weakness. For Ross, despite all the progress, the worst was still to come. In 2017, he suffered another seizure, kept private from the public, while returning from Europe after intense touring and a legal plea that had disrupted his sleep and weakened his immune system. Doctors suspected he had contracted a virus during a performance in Kenya and considered quarantine. He was hospitalized for a week, receiving treatments including lung flushing and antibiotics. Despite progress, Ross had not fully addressed the root cause. She was still using codeine, neglecting rest, and pushing his body to its limits. That on March 2, 2018, the consequences hit hardest. Ross was found unresponsive at his Miami home, slobbing at the mouth, struggling to breathe, and having defecated on himself. Rushed to the hospital, early reports suggested a heart attack, and he was placed on ECMO, a life support system for heart and lung function. The hip-hop world held its breath, social media erupted with prayers, and rumors of his death spread. His family and associates, including Fat Trell, had to clarify that Ross was alive. He remained hospitalized for 4 days, finally being released on March 5 with a post-hospital social media photo simply stating, "Ain't nothing like home." Behind that image, the truth was terrifying. This wasn't just another seizure, it was Ross confronting his mortality. After years of warnings, multiple hospitalizations, weight fluctuations, and repeated setbacks, Ross was finally ready to truly transform his life. Prior to this wake-up call, he admitted to eating 24-ounce steaks at 4 a.m., sleeping only 2 to 3 hours a night, consuming heavy amounts of codeine-laced lean, and pushing his body to the absolute limit. His memoir, Hurricanes, reveals the severity of his lifestyle choices, substance abuse, neglect of rest, and prioritization of work over health. In 2019, Ross revealed the full truth about his 2018 hospitalization. It wasn't a simple heart attack. Years of codeine abuse combined with other substances, stress, and lack of sleep led to a seizure so severe he aspirated fluids into his lungs, causing aspiration pneumonia, respiratory failure, and foaming at the mouth. Remarkably, weeks later, he performed again at B.B. King's Blues Club in New York despite suffering a backstage seizure. Treated for an hour by a masseuse, he went on stage, demonstrating the old Ross determination but with a new resolve. This time, Ross made a life-altering decision. He quit codeine completely, dramatically improved his diet, and prioritized rest and recovery. The results were substantial and sustained. By 2023, he had lost between 75 and 100 pounds from his peak weight, and more importantly, he kept it off. In interviews, Rick Ross denied using weight loss drugs like Ozempic, stating he isn't diabetic and crediting his transformation entirely to diet and consistent exercise. His RossFit program evolved from a simple workout routine into a complete lifestyle philosophy. But Ross didn't stop at transforming his own life. In 2020, he launched JetDoc, a telehealth app providing affordable, accessible healthcare to underserved communities. Ross invested his own money and reputation into creating a platform that could help people avoid the same health crisis he experienced. The concept is simple yet life-changing. Within 3 minutes, users can connect with a doctor virtually, describe their symptoms, receive advice, and even have prescriptions filled at nearby pharmacies. For communities with limited access to traditional healthcare due to cost, transportation, or time, this service is revolutionary. In 2023, Ross continued his advocacy by donating $30,000 to keep a clinic open in Fayette County, Georgia, and joined fellow rappers in a public service announcement calling for transparent, affordable healthcare. By 2024, he expanded his ventures with control meal kits promoting nutritious eating under the slogan "Health is Wealth." Interestingly, Ross continues to embrace luxury while promoting wellness. In a kitchen tour video, he shows off 3 refrigerators, starts his day with Rozay wine, and admits he still enjoys Wingstop wings. Some critics see this as hypocrisy, but it reflects a sustainable, realistic approach. Ross hasn't become a health zealot, he's learned balance. He exercises regularly, eats well most of the time, prioritizes rest, and allows controlled indulgences. This makes his health advocacy relatable and effective, proving that life-saving changes don't require giving up everything enjoyable. His physical transformation is remarkable. Ross has maintained his weight loss, keeping off at least 75 to 100 pounds from his peak, and reports feeling healthier and more energetic than he has in over a decade. No major health scares have occurred since 2018, demonstrating the effectiveness of his lifestyle changes. Yet critics question whether he is truly healthy, citing his continued partying. In a 2023 Rolling Stone interview, Ross acknowledged he still embraces a party till I die mindset, albeit in a more controlled, health-conscious way. Ross' willingness to be vulnerable sets his story apart. In interviews and his memoir, he shared the humiliating and frightening details of his health crisis, including being found unconscious, having defecated on himself, and foaming at the mouth. By sharing these moments, he destigmatizes health issues and encourages others to seek help early. The impact of his advocacy through JetDoc, control meal kits, public service campaigns, and personal example is potentially enormous. Beyond health, Ross has always been more than music. He is a Grammy-nominated rapper, founder of Maybach Music Group, and mentor to artists like Meek Mill and Whale. His business ventures are impressive. His real estate includes the Promised Land, a 109-room Georgia estate formerly owned by Evander Holyfield on 300 acres with one of the largest residential pools in the U.S. In November 2025, he listed another mansion in Southwest Ranches, Florida, for $6.50 million. Iona property purchased in 2021 for $3.50 million with a 4-bedroom main house, guest house, soundproof theater, custom bar, resort-style pool, and 9-car garage. Ross' entrepreneurial ventures extend further. He owns multiple Wingstop franchises, is a brand ambassador for Luc Belaire Champagne, and partnered with cannabis companies, launching Collins AVE cookies in 2020 and hemp hop smokables in 2021. On October 22, 2025, he announced a partnership with South Beach Brewing Company, a Miami craft beverage maker, creating non-alcoholic THC CBD drinks and ready-to-drink spirits launching in December 2025. The launch party on November 9 emphasized the South Beach vibe, with positive fan reception, though some Reddit users questioned celebrity-backed cannabis authenticity. Not all ventures were controversy-free. In early November 2025, Ross went viral for a video mocking Boston Celtics star Jaylen Brown's hair issues after spray-on dye rubbed off on opponents' jerseys. While fans found it humorous, critics pointed out the irony. Brown handled it with humor, shaving his head on Twitch. Later, Ross performed at the Cruel Kids Halloween party in Washington, D.C., hosted by conservative figure C.J. Pearson, featuring strong MAGA symbolism. This drew criticism due to Ross' previous anti-Trump comments. Social media reactions were mixed, some cited hypocrisy, others noted entertainers perform for diverse audiences. He faced similar backlash in January 2025 performing at a crypto ball tied to Trump's inauguration, defending the event as private and paid, not an endorsement. Despite controversies, Ross continues expanding his empire. His 12th studio album, Set in Stone, was announced in July 2025, with the single For the Money featuring Pharrell Williams released in June alongside a Paris-shot video. He headlined the Durban Music Festival in South Africa in May 2025, demonstrating his global appeal. His social media presence remains strong, generating buzz through music, business, and cultural commentary. Ross' journey isn't just about weight loss, avoiding drugs, or better sleep. It's about taking a second chance seriously and using it to help others. His empire shows that you can enjoy life, build wealth, and prioritize health. Controversies and criticism persist, but Rick Ross remains building, growing, and inspiring millions through music, business, and wellness. That, more than anything, defines